Howdy, 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 y'all. Welcome, welcome. I'm excited to be here with you all today. We're going to be doing a really cool stream today. Hey, Adam. My hair looks so much crazier than I thought it did, but we're rolling with it. It just gives me the mad scientist vibes. We're going to be working with libraries today to create cool small projects. If you were around in December, you'll know that we went through and made a text-to-speech engine for Twitch chat, and it took us like 10, maybe 15 lines of code because we were using a cool library. So I'm hoping to do something along the lines of that today. So that should be really exciting. Thank you, Adam, for the hair compliments. I appreciate it. It looks like we have a fairly small stream today, which is great. Just a nice small community of people. Now, this is I had an interesting idea for this, which was I wanted to think like an improv show. Someone might be like, "Oh, give me a location that we might be hanging up a poster in," and then the crowd calls out like, "Oh, you're in a pizzeria," and then I'd be like, "Oh, great, we're in a pizzeria. Where are we?" And then the crowd might be like, "Ohio," and I'd be like, "Oh no, Ohio." Anyway. It's a long way of saying, I'd love to get the project idea for what we're doing today to come from y'all. Thankfully, Adam, you haven't been assassinated by a hidden, or have not been... Brain. I have a brain. It's a little bit of squishy meat inside my skull that allows me to read, theoretically. So yeah, the goal is either to actually try to hide a... The goal for today is to either try to hide a hot pepper in Adam's pizza secretly, or to create some sort of small project, think maybe a script that you would run, or like a web extension, or something along those lines. Yeah, so I'm open to ideas from chat. I have a couple ideas of my own, and we might even ask ChatGPT if you're around for yesterday's stream, see what we can come up with. Ways to avoid pizza assassination is a great topic for the stream. I mean, we could create a script that automatically... My tongue has blistered since yesterday. Oof, that is truly painful. I thought it was just like an unfortunate, painful hot pepper experience, not like a literal someone's trying to kill you experience. So I'm very sorry that happened. We could, if we wanted to, create a script that would automatically order, I don't know if it's from the heat of the hot pizza or from the pepper. That is up for the wise sages of the pizza mancers to decide. We could come up with a script that automatically orders pizza for us. That could be fun. Hook it up to, I don't know, an Alexa command or something like that. No! Ugh, that always sucks. I feel like that's one of the few benefits of being a student, is being able to be like, please, give me a discount. So, I'm sorry for your deep loss. Looks like a couple more people just showed up. Welcome, welcome. We're currently discussing what a small project that we might want to make could be, because the goal of this stream is to make something hopefully that y'all suggest and y'all would want to use, whether that be a web extension or a script or something along those lines. Maybe you need to... Barely AI, Windows Chrome AI text generator. I don't especially know what that is. But yeah, feel free to drop ideas in chat for what a cool thing you might want to make could be, whether it could be something that automatically like sorts your files into folders for you, didn't mean to do that, or a script that orders you pizza, or a web extension that like automatically hides the annoying sidebar of some website that you use, or something along those lines. Barely.ai. An app to decide which junk food I should get tonight. I mean, we could easily do that. Barely AI, save okay, let me share my screen for y'all. Barely AI, save hundreds of hours reading and writing with the world's best AI. Get it, it's free. There's a shockingly limited amount of information here that is kind of sketching me out, I'll be honest. Who said this in chat? Hey, Jackson. If you could give some more context as to why you sent this. It seems interesting, but I don't especially know what we might do with it. Okay, I'm going to file Barely AI away off into the corner, and we might come back to it for a future stream. I do like... It's mini dimmer time. Mini dimmer over in the corner. I assume that that's what you mean. Doesn't auto-generate code, but does write text, emails, etc. Yeah, that's nice. Cool AI project. Thanks for sharing that. That's one of the uses that we were talking about yesterday for some good AI projects. I think thus far Adam has given us our best idea, an app to decide what junk food I should get tonight. I mean, I feel like that's a good way you use AI to generate a bunch of emails and send them all from different places, so you have an outraged mob at your disposal. What I think we could do, looking at the ideas that we've been given, flash mob, I mean, yeah. I don't know how you do a flash mob with emails, but I think it could be fun. Maybe you have GIF profile pictures, and in the order that the emails are sent, that is the flash mob. So, given the idea, an app to decide what junk food to get, I think what we can do is we can create like a dice rolling app sort of thing. So, let us... What would we want? For those of you just joining, we're coming up with an idea that we can use a library to do most of the heavy lifting, so we can create something unique and special and interesting without needing to like create everything from scratch. And the idea that we're working on right now is an app to help you decide what junk food you should get. And I guess here, Adam, as the main user, the question is, what format would you use this in? Would you use it as a mobile app, a website? I think probably a web app would be the best instance for this. And a web extension, yeah, I'm actually going to answer my own question. I think making a web app for this would be best. So it's all, yeah, web app or mobile app. So it's cross-platform, all that. You don't need to install it. So maybe we could get it into one of the aggregators of like the board button and things like that. API create ChatGPT and fills in the junk food. I mean, we could continue to use ChatGPT. Today's stream wasn't necessarily going to be about that, but you'll notice I do have it open in the corner, ready to go if we do need it, or could use it. What I think I'm going to take a look at is a like dice simulating API, and we're looking for NPM. Dice expression evaluators used to parse dice expressions, and okay. This isn't as useful as what we need. What I really want is, yeah, D&D combat. Yeah, these are all for RPG games. Like, and this is fairly static. What I'd love is a physics simulation of that die rolling. What if we were to... Yesterday we were talking about 3JS physics simulation. 3JS do physics. I was about to ask you that question, Adam, but then you kind of asked it for me. But you actually didn't tell us what you want, what you really, really want. Okay. Well, it looks like that's what the app is supposed to. Oh my goodness, you're right. You're right. You're right. I'm sorry. I'm sorry for asking you for that. That was an unreasonable request. We need to develop web apps to answer that difficult question for us. So what I'm looking at is, what if we were to simulate a dice roll? You press a button and a virtual die rolls, and then it tells you like, oh, eat a pizza with a hot pepper hidden in it. And let's ask ChatGPT. How would you actually, I'm doing this. No, I'm not doing it in our old thread. How would you recommend how am I not spelling 1C 2M's? Golly gee. How do you recommend I simulate a dice roll in a web app? Let's ask that. And while we're asking that, let's take a look at chat. I feel like we need to use spice in the name of the app, given I had a spicy pizza last night and I just started singing the Spice Girls. I like it. I think some sort of spice of life pun or something like that. I think that could be very good. Die Baptiste, hello. So we're using these libraries to automate some stuff, or is there a bigger, broader reason for these libraries? Oh, I think I froze there for a second. There is no big or broad reason for me showing these libraries. The point of this is just to show off the usage of libraries in general, because that's often something that is... Ew, that's a really bad response, ChatGPT. Anyway, using libraries is often something that I don't see people doing a whole lot at hackathons when I'm judging, and it can greatly increase the amount that you're able to make in a short period of time. So you don't need to reinvent the wheel. You can just implement someone else's code. So there's no specific library that we're showing off today. I just kind of want to show off and work with y'all about solving a random problem using some libraries. And then we got some advice in chat to use scenario.gg to auto-generate your dice resources. I think one of these times I'm just going to instantly install a virus onto my computer. Now, the real question here is, this doesn't look bad. I'm curious how we get access to it. Let's hit get started. Great, I've joined the waitlist. We'll see if I get an email over the course of the stream and how to join past the waitlist. Thanks for sharing that. I'll be honest, AI for art generation isn't really something that I like from a moral perspective, because it is, like we talked about yesterday, the things that I personally support AI usage for are things that are rote and repetitive. So if you're writing a whole bunch of code that all does the same thing, great. If you're writing a bunch of emails that are very like formal and scripted, great. Creating art, I really don't like supporting projects that remove creative aspects, because I feel like creative fields are some of the things that bring joy to life. And I think there's this like engineering, like sort of drive to engineer out creativity, and that's something that I'm personally trying to stay away from right now. So thank you for sharing, and if I get a follow-up email from that during the stream, we can take a look at it, but I don't super have my hopes up. So down with drudgery, I mean, yeah, like if we're going to be using AI to automate things, we might as well do it to make our lives more interesting and fun and creative, rather than so many of the projects that I see getting all of this mainstream attention are the ones that like remove art and expression and all of the like fun things that humans have been doing for basically our entire existence. Okay. Now, this didn't really answer our question, so I'm going to ask, can I use Three.js to simulate a dice roll using physics? Great. Okay, that was actually a pretty good answer. Yes, it is possible to use Three.js to simulate a dice roll using physics. Three.js is a JavaScript library for creating 3D animations and visualizations, and it can be used in combination with a physics engine like Canon.js or Omeo JS to simulate realistic physics interactions. Here are the basic steps to simulating a dice roll using Three.js and a physics engine. And you're right, this is a nice outline. Create a 3D model, add the die to a physics-enabled scene, apply force, use the physics engine to calculate the movement and rotation based on the applied force and the screen's constraints, update the die's position and rotation in the Three.js scene to match the physics simulation, and once the die comes to a stop, use the final position and rotation. Sorry, I just got distracted. I don't know if you're asking me to repeat the answer to the question that Die Baptiste asked, or if you're asking Die Baptiste to add more context. But the answer to that question was basically, we aren't actually looking at any like specific library because I think it's super cool. We're looking at the idea of using libraries and kind of my workflow for like, we created an idea, which was what if we created a web app that could tell us what junk food to eat? And what if it was a dice roll? And now we're looking at what libraries already exist. So I hopefully can implement things that people have already written rather than recreating the entire wheel. So hopefully we can create a working prototype in 2 hours. I have yet to actually finish a prototype on a stream during January. We've had some difficulties, but I'm hopeful this time. So this gives us a good outline of what we can do. Let me ask, what are those libraries or pre-made examples? And we'll see if it can give us anything. Oh. Okay. This is a really great answer here where it laid out 6 different examples. The first 3 were different libraries that we kind of already seen and talked about, and the last 3 are 3 different projects. And I want to take it diceroller3.js, which this is a complex example of a dice roller using Three.js. It includes camera control, dice rolling animation, and a dice result calculation. That is really what we want, because I would love it to be able to just tell you what the result is without needing for you to read the model. Notwithstanding those hiccups, your sessions are always productive. Thank you. I try my best. I'm really happy with how the sessions have been going, but we haven't necessarily gotten to like a finished product. And the goal of today's stream is the goal of today's stream is to show how you can create a finished product very quickly using existing libraries. And I think we've just come up with our first example of how ChatGPT can very convincingly lie, because to my Google search, it doesn't look like there is a project with the name Dice Roller 3JS. So it kind of made that one up, I believe, but there is 3JS Dice. Create dice for your 3JS scene and throw them on a specific side with Canon.js, which seems great. And it is an NPM library, which is great. Adam, I'm delving into the insides of a 3D printer right now. Good luck doing surgery on a 3D printer. What printer is it? I'm curious. Anycubic Chiron. Okay. That's a... Wait. Anycubic. I'm like... When I think of Anycubic, I think of resin printers. Is it resin or filament? It's big. Okay. Filament. Okay. So the good news is, by the looks of it, this library should do exactly what we're looking for. I'm looking for the NPM page. Here we go. Now, the thing is, I don't know if we can customize types and sizes. What I really want is us to be able to customize what is on the die. Okay. Dice 12. Get object. Eugh. It looks like they've defined a bunch of specific objects. There's a lot of hot glue inside the printer and it's confusing. Usually I wouldn't think of hot glue being inside a 3D printer, but maybe it was for strain relief? Question mark. Dice Manager. Yeah, okay, so it has, they've defined the specific dice, which is not really what we're looking for. And this looks a lot more complicated than I was hoping it would be. But I'm curious. I'm curious to use this. Oh, it's not very convenient. And I want to take a look to see if we can customize the die values. Okay. We have make geometry, create shape, calculate textures, get materials, create. See, I'm trying to find where Dice Manager is defined. Okay. So, we do have the definitions. Okay. So we do have definitions of the dice, and I believe we could just change the face texts and possibly replace them with like food emojis, and it could just work. So I'm curious. Seeing that, I think we might have a not too bad of a chance to use this to create something that is fairly custom in the way that we want it to be. So, oh, excuse me. Dodecahedron, yes. Let's open up Visual Studio Code. Hey, it has our project from yesterday. Let us... Actually, I'm going to open up File Manager first. And we're going to create a new folder for this project, which is going to be called Spice of Dice. And we're going to open up Spice of Dice in VS Code. Thank you, Adam. I hoped you'd like the name. Great. And now... what should we... So this is defined as script in a script tag. But it's an NPM module. And I'm trying to think, like, I usually use NPM with React projects. I normally don't use Node in like traditional HTML, CSS projects. Oh! Full disclosure, I thought it was considered plagiarism to use libraries. Perhaps that's why I take a long time to finish some hacks. Can Lottie files help with the emojis or faces you're looking for? Let's take a look at Lottie hack or Lottie files. I love all the resources y'all are throwing out in chat. Really appreciate it. And so to answer your question of whether or not it's considered plagiarism to use libraries, if you talk about using the library, I don't think it's plagiarism at all. Plagiarism, plagiarism definition. The practice of taking someone else's work or ideas and passing them off as your own. So in my opinion, as long as you talk about like, oh yeah, I used these libraries to create this project. Yeah, Adam, yes. I think it's perfectly fine, especially in a hackathon environment where the point, in my opinion, you can have your own opinions of what the point of a hackathon is, but the point of a hackathon, in my opinion, is practicing combining multiple different skills together, because you have like class projects and personal projects and things like that where you can control every variable and you can take as long as you want. But in a hackathon, you have a limited amount of time, you're working with other people, and you're probably making something that is outside of your skill set and your capacity. So the purpose, or like what I found most interesting and what I learned the most from when I was doing hackathons, was by pushing myself to do something outside my capacity, and to do that I was combining a bunch of different things together. So combining libraries, I think, is a perfectly great example of a good thing to do at a hackathon. Me planning on using a hackathon for one of my uni assignments, I mean, yeah, I know people who do that. Lottie files looks great, but not necessarily for what we want to be doing today, because we aren't going to be making an animation. We are going to be simulating everything within, Three.js. That's what we're using. I hear a cat scratching at my door, and I'll see if she wants to come on stream for a brief moment. Hi, Banana. Do you want to come in? Hi. Oh. She's not super... Oh. She does not want to come on stream. But she will be walking around my desk. You might see a tail in the background. This is Banana. She is probably the best cat I've ever met. I love her very much. You'll see, I don't know, just her in the background. Okay, let us switch back to screen share. Oh, she's scratching her face on my laptop. Okay, Node.js setup with Express, HTML, CSS, JS, and EJS. NPM init. Install dependencies. Great. I have a cat. Hi. This looks like a great starting point for this. Oh, she's rubbing her face on the microphone. Adorable. Let's install these dependencies. So Express or npm init first. Okay. Again, I've only used like create React app and things like that to create node projects. So this is new territory for me. npm install Express, EJS. I'm curious. Let's ask. What does Express JS do? Great. So yeah, I knew of Express as like making web servers, but not necessarily for like creating web applications. I unscrewed a fan and now I cannot screw it back in. May I get an F in the chat, please, friendos? You're gonna get an F from me. One sec. That is an F in chat. Banana's asking. Bye, Banana. Okay. Express.js is a web application framework, blah, blah, blah. Create web servers, handle HTTP requests and responses, define routes. Provides a high-level API for working with the HTTP protocol. Number of middleware functions. Seems super convenient and good to use. It might be a little bit much for what we're working with today, but that is probably anything that we use is going to be, quote, a little bit much in my eyes because we're creating a very small project. Great. And then NodeMon. Great. Okay, so we're following this tutorial, and we've installed Express and NodeMon, and okay. It's now asking us to make a specific file structure, which we can do, but now I'm realizing why there are things like create React app, which make this so much easier. So we create public, not public, and inside of public, we're going to create a new folder that is CSS, and MG, and JS. And then inside here, we're going to create a new folder that is views. Oh, this might not be what we're looking for, because we are now creating views using EJS, which I kind of overlooked here. Generate HTML markup with plain JavaScript. Oh, we just want normal HTML pages. Boo. Boo. You know what? For the sake of simplicity, we're just gonna make this a React app. We're gonna delete all of that. And then npx create React app. It's spice of dice. And I believe I did that syntax correctly. And we'll just embed the script tags into the... Oh. Name can no longer contain capital letters. Didn't know that. We'll try this again. This won't be the cleanest code, but again, the purpose of this is to show how we can create a functional prototype of our project pretty quickly using libraries. In this case, we're just using a dice rolling library and we're just customizing it slightly. I'll be honest, this I don't think is a great example of a hackathon project. This is a great example of like a personal project, a small script that you have for your personal life. That was more the focus of today's stream, of something that like would make your life better, because showing this off as a portfolio piece or a hackathon project when like 99% of the code isn't going to be ours isn't great. But there are libraries that like you can combine together. I'm going to use the example of the YouTube chat API that we wrote earlier in December, which we used one library to read YouTube, to pull YouTube chat from the live stream, and then we used another library to implement text-to-speech, and then we used another library, we used another library to control mouse and keyboard on our computer, and we combined all of those ideas together to create our own project. So we combined existing things to create something new, where in this case, we're basically just using what someone else has written. For now. We might add more onto it later, but for now, we're just implementing someone else's dice throwing library. This is always the really chill part of the hackathon stream, or the hackathon or stream, I guess I should say, where npm is installing something. It also kind of taxes my computer a little bit, and I can see that the stream is stuttering a little bit. I apologize. I'm working on it, getting a better streaming setup. won't stutter so much. If any of y'all have any questions you want asked or answered, feel free to ask them. For now, we're just kind of waiting for this because most of the work that we're going to be doing is going to be working with the dice rolling library and customizing it and hopefully adding things to it. Sure, how do I fix this 3D printer? Well, I guess the first question is, what's wrong with it? While this is loading, I can also... How do I fix the print bed not heating up on a Anycubic Chiron? Great, that's still loading. We are getting an answer from ChatGPT, Adam. Great. I wasn't part of December Global Hack Week. Can you elaborate on the project you mentioned, the YouTube live chat one? Yeah. So my goal with that was there's a lot of different tooling out there for if you're live streaming on Twitch, where you can make Twitch chat more interactive, but there isn't a whole lot for YouTube live streams. And if you don't know, MLH streams, froze there for a second. MLH streams on both Twitch and YouTube, and most of y'all, I think almost all of y'all, everyone who's typing in chat is viewing on Twitch because it is currently the more popular streaming platform. But some people who are more wired into the streaming scene are saying that YouTube is quickly rising. I don't know, I'm going to leave this up on screen if you want to take a look at what ChatGPT says. So I wanted to create an app that would allow us to have text-to-speech. Twitch is blocked at uni. Good to know. Get a VPN, Adam. How do you not have a VPN? Anyway, that aside, if I as a streamer wanted to have VPNs are blocked. Gross. If I as a streamer wanted to have the chat read in my ears using text to speech and have it read out loud for the rest of the stream using text to speech, there isn't currently a way to do that elegantly in YouTube. So what we did was we created a Python script that I believe I still have. Hey, okay, our Create React app worked, but I'm gonna open up this to talk about it. Let's open the folder. Try running Tor. I mean, I feel like that's a little bit of an intense solution, but great. This right here, however many lines this is the entirety of the code that we needed to write in order to allow, chat messages to be, I believe, we might have edited it. Nope, this is it. That allows chat messages from a YouTube live stream to be taken in by this script and then either read out loud or to allow chat to play any one of these sound effects that we have off in the left-hand side. So this is 16 lines, I believe, which is a super small amount of code because we were using PyTchat, which allowed us to pull the YouTube chat using someone else's library. So we didn't need to work specifically with the YouTube API. And then we were able to use a text-to-speech engine that someone had already written as well to read it out loud. So we were able to create this project that did something that I wanted, something on my computer to be able to do in 16 lines. That's like the best example of why I think looking at existing libraries and existing code is the best place to start when creating a project. Please share. Yeah, I will remind me towards the end of the stream and I will share it for you. Yeah, I'll probably just share it in like a paste bin because it's one file. So, okay. With that, great. We have our React app, which is totally overkill for this. Hey, okay. I'm about to hook a multimeter into it and turn it on. I mean, I think that's what you're gonna have to do. I'm manifesting an unfried brain. If everyone can think good non-brain frying thoughts for Adam here, I think we'd all appreciate that. Great. Okay, we're in the project Spice of Dice, and we want to npm install 3JS Dice. I'll be honest, I am kind of disappointed with how singular in scope this is. So I think this is a great like example of a prototype, but in the future, actually the next stream, which is I believe tomorrow at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time, I'm doing a live stream specifically on 3JS. That's why I was thinking to use it here, because 3JS is a great library for implementing 3D simulations, objects, animations into web apps. So we're going to be talking more about 3JS there and starting from the ground up rather than from someone else's library. Okay. Oh, I forgot how many node modules there are. Okay, let's assume that 3JS is there. And then in app.js, let us so how else does that project work? Could we actually test it in a live stream? If by that project you're referring to the YouTube live chat one, yes, it does work super well. And we could totally try it in this live stream if you wanted to. Let me know in chat, y'all, if you'd want to do that. It's very easy to start it running. It is slightly distracting, which is why I don't use it all the time. And I also want to add Twitch chat compatibility because most of y'all are viewing on Twitch. But yes. Import 3JS Dice. Oh, Adam is the multimeter wired in. Time to turn it on. This is the moment of truth if Adam never replies again. Oh, okay. Many yeses. Let us. So the process of setting this up involves opening up YouTube. Wow, I'm hitting my computer hard. Think I might stand back? I'm hoping that you know how to use a multimeter. Great, okay, I'm gonna drop this link in chat for y'all. This is the YouTube live stream that is the exact same stream that we are watching right now. And if you type in chat there, in 1 second, it should start playing using text-to-speech. So I'm just taking the video ID from that and placing it there. And then I can run the script. I do, but I don't know the voltage of the cable I've plugged it into. Well, hopefully it's DC. And if it's DC, hopefully it won't be too powerful. Hopefully nothing can explode. Great, okay. For those of y'all who want to experiment with the script that we wrote in the past, if you go into the YouTube chat, which is in the link that I sent, and type something in chat, it should be read out loud on stream for y'all. Give me 1 sec to make sure it'll come through on stream. Okay. So don't start your chat message with an exclamation point if you want it to be read out loud. There we go. I heard that, and I'm like 90% sure y'all heard that. If you can let me know in chat. Adam didn't hear anything. Okay. That is unfortunate, but not unexpected. So I just reset all audio on my computer there, and theoretically... I could hear that. Now the question is, could y'all? Now you should. There you go.
Ready to take your deployments to new heights with the power of the cloud? Come join Fiona for an exciting session on deploying to the cloud.
Boom. That text-to-speech is working, and you can also... Hey, Adam hears it. We all hear it. We can also do...
A full commitment's what I'm thinking of.
Exclamation point play, and then I can say oof. And the oof sound effect plays, or I could do... Play... Rickroll.
You wouldn't get this from any other guy.
Yeah, so this was one of the streams that I did in December. It's, I think, probably my most successful stream because we started out with a very tangible goal and we were able to achieve it very well. Oh, rip Adam. Turns out the big red stop button doesn't work. Yeah, I'm really happy with this project. And again, it's 16 lines. Like, it's a super simple project. This I was trying to do to like decrease spamming, but it didn't actually work because I was trying to write it at the end of the project.
Dim air. Absolutely love this.
So 27 lines, I think is the total amount. Yeah. In an ideal world, I also want to add Twitch support with this so that y'all don't need to switch to YouTube. But the project that we did at the time was specifically focusing on YouTube. Yeah. I'm going to leave that running in the background while we go back to Spice of Dice. Node modules. 4. My goodness, there has to be.
Abracadabra, 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 abracadabra.
Abracadabra. I'm looking for... Three.js dice, here we go. Nothing blew up, but multimeter didn't get any numbers. RIP, that's almost like the worst outcome. Of like, you didn't even get a cool explosion, but also it's not working still. From... 3...
Face blue wide eyes, face blue wide eyes, face blue wide eyes.
From Three.js dice. Oh wait, no, it's the other way around. Ugh, I did that Pythonically. Import. Dice from... There we go.
Cold underscore face, cold underscore face, cold underscore face.
You'll also notice that the chat on stream is only Twitch chat. There isn't really any good system that I know of right now that can work with both Twitch and YouTube chat simultaneously. Oh, something made a noise in Adam's printer. That's good.
I would be super happy if I were to make something like this as my first hackathon project.
Oh my goodness. Yeah. No, it okay. We're gonna take a step back. And we're gonna just talk for a bit. Which is, so the point of this stream is to talk about libraries in general. And we came up with this idea at the very beginning because the point was that I listened to a suggestion that y'all have. But I'll be honest, I don't think this project is a super great example of what I wanted to talk about with the libraries because I don't actually know enough about Three.js to be able to let this be a learning opportunity for y'all or to actually create a cool project at the end. So I want to take a step back from what we were doing, which is also a really important piece of hackathons, is evaluating what you're doing and going like, maybe this isn't actually what we want it to be doing, and like, maybe we should do something else, which is super important to do. Rather than just like keeping on trying to do something that you might not actually like find passion in or success in, or might not be something that you want to do. I hate how much there's rhetoric around like, don't give up, just like stick through it. I feel like reevaluating and like possibly changing what you're doing is super important. So I'm making the executive decision to officially change what we're doing this stream, because what we were doing there with Three.js not actually going to create a really good stream experience for anyone. So I'm closing out of that Visual Studio Code project, and we're actually just going to be adding to the project that I was showing earlier, which is that that chat project, which you can hear people talking through, and let's add Twitch chat support to it right now, because I'm sure that there are Twitch APIs that are super similar, and it can give you all the example of like how it is.
How do you come up with such ideas?
Oh my goodness. This is one of the things that is like so hard to answer because it's so personal. I think that the best projects come from a true want or a true need. I know, let's pull up my dev post. Let's talk about, this is now hackathon talk time. Great. I haven't done a hackathon in a while because I became an MLH coach and started doing things from this side. But I think taking a look at my dev post is a good example of the projects that I felt were good because I wanted to make them, and projects that existed because I thought they would be an interesting project. So you'll notice I did a bunch of hackathons, 36 projects on my dev post. But there are only a few of these that I think are that like really stick with me. And I'm gonna select these from here. Great. Okay. So you'll notice that there are a bunch of projects here. And a lot of them have that little winner sash on them. Woo, I won the hackathon. but a lot of those came from a strategy, which is like a valid hackathon strategy, which is to look at all the sponsors and all the sponsor prizes and go like, how many of these sponsor prizes could I submit for at once?
Can you run me through the thought process when you decide on such a project idea?
Yeah, that's what we're doing right now. So you could be at a hackathon and be like, okay, here are all the sponsors, and let us like look at all of these and use an app that uses Google Cloud, and I don't know, what are some other sponsors? It also implements, like, I haven't done a hackathon in a while, so I'm blanking on sponsors, but like you can think about like, okay, it implements Google Cloud, and maybe we have a second server that is, we use like Google, we use the Maps API for the Google Cloud prize. And we might have a like database that's using MongoDB that's hosted on a Linode server. And we might make a project that is, it's a database application for hospitals that are near you. That would be a very bad application because Google Maps already has it, but it's an example of like that could go for like the medical track at a hackathon and use like a Google API, a Linode server, and a MongoDB database. We're like, hey, look, you have a project that submits to a bunch of sponsor prizes, but it's not necessarily a good project in the way that all of y'all have had this reaction, or at least a lot of y'all have had this reaction of like, ooh, this YouTube project, which again is 27 lines, is like a good project. And it's not because it's super complicated. It's not because it solves some huge world issue. It is because it does something very specific that has like an impact. Adam dropping names of sponsors in chat, domain.com, Twilio. So if I look at my dev post and I have all of these different things, Toilet Tracker, which was a database that was laid out on a map of all publicly available toilets. Not an inherently bad idea, but kind of a meh idea in my opinion. Smart Faucet is probably one of my favorite application or things that I made, which is I created a thing that stuck onto my sink. I had a Raspberry Pi, I had a ultrasonic sensor, and I had this little servo that was stuck onto the sink so that it would turn the sink on and off when my hands were under it. And the reason why I think this is a great project is because it's so small. Oh, wait. Banana's in my room again. They're like the closet has a like opening, and she just got through the closet. Hi, Banana. Do you want? She got into my room and then she was scratching on the door to get out. Cats are truly wonderful. Anyway, this project, I was able to describe the entire project in like that one couple sentences. And it was like one Python file that was running this Raspberry Pi. This is not super complicated. Accountability Buddy. This is a project that I made because I really wanted to try using Flutter to create an interesting looking user interface. Let's see if I can get to a spot in the video where it shows that interface. Great. It is just a list, and that list has swipeability. So you can swipe on things you can swipe to the left or you can swipe to the right. I'm hoping, there we go. You can swipe to the left or swipe to the right. That's the entire project of this idea of like, what if you've had a to-do list that had that swipeability to it? Very simple core idea. Prometheus is a game that I made for Hackman 2020. It is a platformer with the like singular sentence idea of what if your character was like holding a torch. Okay. And you have a bar above your head that is the light. And as that bar goes down, the amount that you can see of the level surrounding you decreases. Again, that one sentence is the idea. AR Field Trip. This was like really early COVID era of like, what if we were to bring like what you would see at a museum to you using AR? So I think the coolest part of this, is I found a model that was like the inside of an Apollo capsule. And I created like a really simple web application that allowed you to place that in the world and look around the inside of the Apollo capsule. So it's this like one specific idea again. That's actually not a great project example. Okay, so I've just given you like a breadth of projects. And I think that those are some of my favorite projects. And this YouTube chat is an example of like one of my favorite projects. That's why I'm talking about it. But, okay, let's talk about like what similarities these have. they have a very simple idea that is very small in scope, but specific in impact. So instead of creating an application that's like, I want to make Google Maps but better, or I want to connect people in this new and interesting way, or I want to reduce food waste, or taking all of these huge problems that are like, these are impacting the world and I'm going to create a solution to it. I personally think that those can create good projects, but oftentimes there's a limit there because you're taking something that you don't necessarily have a lot of personal knowledge around. And also it's a huge problem that can't be solved by an app. Tech startups can say all they want, but you can't solve a like huge societal problem like food waste using an app. You need something more than that. So what I think makes a cool project is scaling the scope way, 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 way down so that you have something that you know really well, what you want to create and why you want to create it and how you would use it in your life. And also scaling it way down so that you can actually have a usable solution at the end of it. And this is where, like, I think this is what makes that YouTube chat project so cool, is because it is something that I wanted to do. I was on streaming for y'all, and I knew like live streaming is one of the things that I'm really interested in, along with a computer science degree. I'm getting a digital media studies degree because it's a platform and it's a medium that I think is really cool. It was something that I knew about, and I noticed that there wasn't really a good way to have chat do text to speech on a YouTube live stream. And I went, well, okay, that's a small specific problem that I have intimate knowledge over because I'm the one streaming and I have an interest in live streams. Could I create a solution to this? And I did some research, found some libraries, and I created that solution. I think the best projects are small but specific. And really the easiest way to do that is to think like, what would I use in my life? One of the projects that we made in December was I wanted to experiment with creating a Chrome extension because I'd never done that before. And I created a Chrome extension. Originally, I was going to like try adding another button to Twitch, and that's how the stream started, and it wasn't really going that well. And then we pivoted halfway through, and we created a Chrome extension that swapped all the vowels around on Ars Technica, which is the website where I read my tech news. And I'm really happy with how that project turned out because there again, I have a website that I go to almost daily to check up on tech news, which is Ars Technica. And I wanted to create a web extension that made that experience a little bit more surreal. And I was able to do that in like, I don't know, like 3 files, maybe 20 lines of code that I actually changed that weren't just boilerplate, which was just iterating through all of the like letters that were in the like paragraph and heading tags. And if there was a vowel in there, replacing it with a random vowel. It was something that was like fairly simple to implement, but I could see where I'd want to use it in my life. I know that I just kind of went on a slightly impassioned speech there, but I think that is the best way to create projects that are meaningful to you personally, and that are meaningful in the environment of a hackathon. Because again, I'm studying digital media studies, and with that comes a lot of communication things. When you're at the end of a hackathon and you're demoing your project, you have a certain amount of time to talk to judges. If this is a virtual hackathon and it's an MLH hackathon, you might have 2 minutes in your video to say what you did, why you did it, and why they should care. And in that time, I have found, and I personally think, that the most impactful pitch that you can make, it has nothing to do with your like tech stack and your code and all of these technical things. It is your project and what it is doing and why. There is a model for science communication for people who are like researchers and things like that is ABT, and but therefore, which states, let's list at the beginning and all of the things that currently exist in the world, but here's the problem with it, therefore we did this. So an example, let's think of the example for this YouTube script that we created in December, 27 lines. If I was submitting this as a hackathon project, my video would be all the ands first, laying out the scene. YouTube is an up-and-coming streaming platform because it is already so popular from video, and Twitch is doing things that are decimating their community, decreasing the payouts, increasing the number of mandatory ads. It's falling apart, and a lot of people are switching to YouTube. But the existing library of tools that streamers use is highly focused on Twitch, so there aren't those tools for YouTube. I kind of switched to the but there of like, here's here's the and of there's Twitch, there's YouTube, there are tools, and I should have added in there. One of the things that a lot of Twitch streamers do to add interactivity to their streams is allowing chat messages to be read using text-to-speech so they can hear them and the stream can hear them, which allows chat to have more control over the stream so they can see themselves more in it. It's more interactive, and it creates a better chat streamer interaction and relationship. But YouTube doesn't have those because YouTube is a newer platform and it doesn't have those scripts built up around it. Therefore, I created my own script to solve that problem, which is this script right here, which takes chat messages and it reads them text-to-speech, or it allows chat to play sound effects using the exclamation point play command. That right there is the formula of how I would do both a hackathon presentation and what I go through to kind of like see, is this project impactful? Let's think of a project that I'm going to be working on tomorrow, which is I'm making, if you attended some of my earlier streams, yesterday's, and on Monday, I believe was my first stream of January, I was working on a personal portfolio site with y'all. And I kind of talked at length about how like, I don't know if personal portfolio sites are like super necessary. Because especially if you're a fairly new developer or you don't have a whole lot of design skills, then your personal website won't look all that different or all that much better than a LinkedIn page or your, like, I don't know, your DevPost profile or all of these other sites that already exist where you can put all the information about you. So the question is, why do you want a personal website? And the reason why that I gave earlier was that I wanted a test bed to experiment with some cool things, which that's, I think, the most broad answer I could possibly give. But that being said, specifically what I wanted to experiment with, and I showed y'all, and I'll show y'all again. You can tell I might be a little bit passionate about this. Science. Pulling up David Hackhoff's personal website. Let's take a look at this. Let me switch to screen sharing. Ooh, my computer is struggling a bit. Wow, what happened there? I truly don't know what's happening with my computer. It seems okay. We're getting back. We're there we go. Okay. We're back. I'm not sharing screen. Yes, I'm not sharing screen because I was trying to share screen and everything died. But theoretically it's not dying now, hopefully. I'm hoping. Should we be alarmed? No, you should not be alarmed. This is because I'm a little bit of a pedantic snob because I care so much about live streaming. So the way that I'm streaming right now is different from the way that other MLH live streams are done. You can notice because like chat is off to the side. And when I do share my screen, it looks like this with my face down in the corner here rather than off to the side and all these different things. I stream slightly differently because I think it looks better and it allows a better experience for chat, but that means my computer's basically processing 2 live streams at once. I know it looks like on my end my stream is a little bit choppy, but I hope that the audio is still coming through fine because that's the most important thing. This is David's personal website, which looks insane. And it is based on using Three.js and a bunch of 3D models to create these really interesting experiences and animations. Okay, that was the whole point that I wanted to make there. I just wanted to show that off. Let's go back to here. Great, okay. that is the personal website that I saw, and I was like, ooh, this is really interesting. And thus the goal for making a personal website was that I wanted to make a personal website that actually
Need what
was...
David's on.
Need what David's on. I mean, yeah. I think it's mostly age and experience, because I think he's like a professional developer who's been doing this for a long time. But yeah, this is... This question right here was not answered at all, which is, it's a 27-line project that was created in like an hour and a half. So we didn't have time to really go into that, but that is like an amazing question that really isn't answered, as evidenced by the fact that I just completely lost my train of thought when Mike asked that question. Yeah, so David created that website, and I thought this is a really cool thing. I've experimented around with 3D modeling before. I think Blender's really cool. I want to try creating something that merges these two skills. And thus, my like small piece was, I want to create a project that combines my existing knowledge of web design with my like burgeoning interest in 3D modeling. That right there is entirely within my locus of control, and I can address that by creating a project that is a personal website that uses 3D models in some way. So if this were a hackathon project, I'd talk about that. I'd talk about how I'm learning these new things, and it's a really interesting thing for me. I saw this was inspirational, and thus I've created this new project. So the and there is, I have these interests, I saw this website that was super inspirational, but I haven't made anything like that before, therefore I've tried making something new. Okay, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna breathe for a sec. We're gonna just chill, get some more chill vibes on stream. Die Baptiste, thank you. I really should do this as a HackCon talk for HackCon 2023. Or would it be? Yeah, I think it's HackCon 2023. I think that would be a really good talk for me to do, because I am very passionate about this. Please do not forget to share, and where can I follow you? I don't really have a strong presence right now. The best place where you can consistently see me is going to be right here. I plan on basically coming back every month for Global Hack Week and doing live streams. My dev post, some people were asking earlier, I'm going to drop that in chat so you can take a look at the projects that I've done. And in those videos, I made these...
https://devpost.com/Nathan Dimmer.
This is the disadvantage of that YouTube project, is because it reads everything out in chat, including links that I drop. In there are the projects that I've made that you can look at, and in those projects are videos which roughly follow that structure that I was talking about of and, but, therefore. I didn't know that at the time. That is something that I've learned since, as I learn more about this, but it roughly follows that pattern. This is like a great place to see me. I don't really have a place for you to follow me yet. That would honestly be something that I would be using for a personal website, because I don't have a strong social media presence anywhere. So having a personal website where maybe like you could find all my information, that would be super useful.
How's the weather?
The weather is pretty dark and gray in Michigan, honestly. Yeah, so that answers like a couple of questions there. Taking a step back, being a little bit more meta. Again, the purpose of the stream was really this idea of creating small projects that have something to do with your life and your experiences, are much more impactful to talk about. They aren't necessarily the best learning experiences. I think that there can be a lot of good. As I experiment with like 3D modeling and other like more traditional art fields, I'm learning more about how art is taught and people learn art. And I feel like it's a really great kind of model to take to learn in computer science, where people do kind of two sorts of things, where they do studies and they create their own things, where when they do a study, they might take someone else's art and recreate it and like see what they did and learn what their process was. Or they might take like a specific style of art and they might be like, ooh, I really like learning about Impressionist paintings, so I'm going to create a bunch of paintings in the Impressionist style, where the goal isn't necessarily for it to be super impactful good art, but for them to learn something new by choosing a very specific project that is selective in the ways that they want to learn. And I feel like that can be very useful. I've done admissions work for the MLH fellowship, and a lot of projects that people submit are like, this is like a Twitter or an Instagram clone, which is a good project to show like, ooh, I've made something complicated. But it's not a super great project for like a hackathon, because Twitter and Instagram already exist. People have seen websites like this. There are tons of clones of them. Like, it's not a super impactful, cool project, but it is a good demo of your technical skill. So that's like an example of a study of you are taking something that already exists and you are learning by recreating it. And then there is what you make yourself. And this would be like an artist's sketchbook, where they're just kind of trying things, throwing things at the wall, seeing what sticks. That's where I think creating these small projects that aren't very large in scope, aren't trying to change the world, but are trying to do something very specific and something that you care about, I think that's where that can be the most impactful. Congrats, Adam, on fixing the printer. A good example of this is a lot of CS people are gamers. I personally haven't really been able to get into gaming, but fried the printer, not fixed. Oh, I'm so sorry, Adam. Fried. Ripped the printer. But it was theoretically already broken, so it's not too much worse, hopefully. I'm hoping you don't get into any trouble from anyone else or feel guilty yourself. Sending lots of love. If you are a gamer, think about the games that you play and what about it is annoying as heck. There are a lot of cool small projects that are like accessories to games. It could be, I'm trying to think. I know that there was a good Destiny project that took like Destiny inventory management and made it like a separate web app that you could use. I believe there's now an official thing for that, but like when Destiny 1 was first coming out. Or like, what about a project that allows you to... this is where it shows that I'm not a gamer. Basically think about like what annoys you, specifically usually like what in software, what systems exist, what are these structures that annoy you, and what could you add on top of that to make your life better rather than trying to reinvent everything. And with that, a great example of like why this is impactful is because usually there are a lot of APIs for existing systems. So let's say, okay, let's ignore the large existing modding scene for Minecraft for a second. And as an example of a project, because Minecraft was a game that I used to love. If I'm really frustrated because I keep trying to build in Minecraft, but for the life of me, I can't figure out, like I want to create a circle, but I can't for the life of me, like figure it out in game. This would be a great example of a small project that I believe there are a couple exist. Goodness, I'm trying to find a project that I used to use where basically you could input a shape. Maybe that would be a cylinder, maybe that would be a circle, maybe that would be a torus. And you would give it dimensions and scale, and this project would then tell you like, ooh, here's how you would build that in Minecraft. Here's how the blocks would look. That is a fairly small project.
You can use Minecraft for perspective reference when drawing.
I mean, yes, you could. I'm not especially huge into drawing. I've tried. Not something I'm super interested in. We're talking more about code, but we're talking about specifically in this instance how we can use code to add on to something that you're already passionate about. Because I think that is the like coolest way for you to create projects that are meaningful to you. As an example, using Minecraft, because that's the game that I have the most knowledge about. If I wanted to make circles in Minecraft, or ovals, or I don't know, cones, pyramids, all of these things, it's hard to eyeball that. So I could create a web app that would tell me exactly the layouts that I would need to build layer by layer to build that. And that is a small project that fills a gap that isn't out there. There might be solutions for it, but to a certain extent, you can make your own. I will answer that question that you just asked in a sec. It solves a problem that I am like personally invested in, so I have a solution, which really gets to the point of if you've taken some like higher level computer science classes, which admittedly I have not yet, you talk about user stories. I know about this from talking with other people, where the idea is you have user stories when you're planning a project of this user wants to use this application to do blank, and then you use that to design the app. Well, that can be sometimes really difficult to like figure out what someone would want to use your project for.
What
So
year
if
are you in? //
If you want to use your own project, it's very easy for you to ask, like, what do I want out of this? And then if you narrow it, if you focus it super narrow into what you want to do, you create a project that you can easily talk about the impact and what it does and why you made it. Taking another step back. I think I've answered that question to the best of my ability, and I'm probably starting to repeat myself a little bit. So, BTW, how is the chat showing on your screen? Other streamers haven't done this so far. This is, again, where I'm being quite a bit of a snob in the way that I'm streaming. I have OBS, Open Broadcast Software, running on my computer, and I'm using that as a virtual webcam, and I'm sending that webcam to the software that MLH uses for live streams. Because MLH is a big company with a whole bunch of coaches who are doing a whole bunch of streams all over the world all the time, we use a platform called StreamYard, which allows you to basically just use a website to be able to stream, which is super great for people who don't have streaming experience. And it allows us... This is exactly what I was talking about. Like, higher level computer science courses talk about this. I'm not the best person to talk to about that because I haven't taken those yet, but it's a thing. So it's a great platform for like doing all of these live streams from different people and making them look good enough. But I'm really passionate about live streaming, so I've kind of customized my setup, hence why the beginning of streams look like this, and I have like this waiting screen, and Twitch chat is showing on the side, and my screen share looks different, and all of these things, because I'm trying to give y'all the best experience that I can. Mike asked the question of what year I'm in. I'm actually currently taking time off from university. Dimmer for Twitch 2023. Thank you, Adam. I started my freshman year, and then some like big things happened in my personal life, and I needed to take time off to focus on my health. I ended up in the hospital, and I'm planning on returning in the fall of next year. So I have like 1 semester of traditional university under my belt. Plus, if you're from the US school system, you know about like AP classes, and I took a couple college classes in high school. So I have like sophomore class standing. I'm like, the university thinks of me as a second year student, but really I have like a semester, maybe a semester and a half worth of actual college experience. So I don't have a ton of experience in traditional education. Most of what I'm talking about, I've gotten from different cool people in the hackathon community that I've talked to, a lot of different YouTubers, that you've probably heard of. Tom Scott is honestly one of my favorites for like how he thinks of projects and things like that. Michael Reeves, obviously a very big YouTuber, but I love his projects because they're a great example of this, of he chooses something super, super specific. His latest one is a robot that teaches unboxing. I haven't actually seen that video yet, but he chooses something that's very, okay. I'm just like trying to think of videos that he's done. To give another example, at one point he had like a Spot robot dog, and what he wanted to do was he wanted it to pour beer into a cup as if it was peeing, which is a great Michael Reeves idea because it is the perfect combination of technology and some good juvenile humor. But he had that idea, and that's a very specific idea, and he was able to craft this great narrative in this video of how he went about accomplishing that very specific idea. So these are like people that, I don't know, I listen to, I watch, I learn, that sort of thing. Okay, printer is fine. I just fried the kettle lead, LOL. As in, you're British, so I'm assuming that next to you is an electric kettle to make tea at all times. And I'm assuming that's what you're talking about when you say kettle lead. You're a very creative person, gotta say that. Thank you, that's very kind. I really appreciate that. How do you go about learning new technologies and building projects? A kettle lead is a 3-pin cable. Boo, boo. I mean, I'm glad that you know what a kettle lead is, but I think it would be better if it was your actual kettle, because British, tea, all that jazz. I'm gonna get a tomato thrown at me through my screen for being aggressively American here. How do you go about learning new technologies and building projects? Adam's sending me a photo on Discord. This is where I again go back to, I think the best way to learn something is having a very specific goal in your personal life. Oh, boo, you're sending me a
Throw
picture
him
of
in the
kettle.
harbor.
Goodness. Ugh, I wouldn't pass 8th grade history now because I'm blanking on the Boston Tea Party. Thank you. Going back, got very distracted there. How do you go about learning new technologies and building projects? The best thing for me has been taking something very specific that I want to do and then learning the tools to get there, which can be very difficult because it's very hard to choose that project, especially when you're a beginner and you don't know what you don't know. I think this is a more broad learning question. It isn't specifically about learning to code. It is about how do you learn in general. And I feel like there are a lot of people who talk about learning to code as a very specific discipline of like, learning to code involves learning these things in this specific order. And like, I could give you the like, oh, well, first you should take like a Codecademy course on HTML and CSS, and then you might want to learn JavaScript. And from there, you might want to learn React. And you can use that React knowledge to then move on to other things. And then you can implement NPM scripts and blah, 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 blah. But I think the most important thing is to find your passion and your interest in like why you want to learn it. The live streaming stuff, like why is my stream different from other people's, is because I think live streaming is super cool. And one of the things that I found really fun is being like, okay, even before I was live streaming for MLH, I kind of asked this question to myself, like, okay, if I think that live streaming is super cool and fun, what would my stream look like? And I just did a bunch of Googling and I found some people who talked about it. And I set up like a live streaming setup of like, ooh, here were the plugins that I'd use. And like, this is what I do to have a waveform showing on the starting soon screen. And I'd have a little animation and I would do these things so that it would like meet my interest and my questions. So the question about learning new technologies and building projects, I feel like you put the building projects first and the learning technologies second. Yesterday we were using ChatGPT to ask a bunch of questions. Adam, I like that the starting screen matches your wall. Yeah, I chose the wall and then I was like, I really like how this looks. So hence the starting screen. Yesterday we were using ChatGPT and I was asking it a bunch of questions of like, okay, I want to make a personal portfolio using this technology. What should I use? But it was then telling me, here are the technologies that you might use that would be the most efficient for what you want to do. But there are a ton of projects out there. Like I and I think probably everyone else who's ever like followed a developer before has this list in my head of all of the technologies out there and all of the platforms and all these things that I could use to create projects. And they aren't all necessarily, I can't learn all of them, is what I guess I would say. There's a great channel, Fireship, that it originally started teaching Firebase specifically, but now he just does really great fast tutorials on a whole bunch of different languages and builds quick, small projects to show you how it's done. Fireship, his website is fireship.io. I'll drop that in chat for y'all. Because this is a great place. It's like a learn to code resource. I personally wouldn't pay for anything on this website. I don't think paying to learn to code
https://fireship.io.
I don't think necessarily paying to code or learn to code is the best way to go about it if you're trying to just build a project. I'm gonna get back to that comment later. Fireship is like a great YouTube channel though, because it shows you a whole bunch of different technologies and a whole bunch of different projects, and it gives you all of these ideas that you can pull from. Because the like truth of it is, If y'all follow XKCD, which I highly recommend you do, it's a great webcomic, but there's a comic about like competing standards, which is like, oh, there are 13 different standards that are all competing. What we should do is we should make one standard that is better than all of them so we can collect them all together and do it better. And then the end result is there are 14 new different standards. You can use any combination of things to make really most things, if not anything. If you wanted to create a game, there are a whole bunch of like different projects that you could use and a whole bunch of different techniques. You could use Unity, you could use Godot, you could use like RPG Maker, you could do all these different things. But the tool that you use is just that. It's a tool to create a project. And I think this is another great example of how we can make a likening, like we can liken this to art. Of if you ask someone to make you a picture of like a wolf howling at the moon. I'm trying to think of the most like internet, like my childhood internet art like picture that I can imagine. Someone could use crayons, colored pencils, paint, clay, all these different things. But those are all tools to get to the end project. And I believe, the way that I think about it, the different technologies are the exact same thing. You have all these different tools to get you to an endpoint, but you need to first define that endpoint. And from there, you can just use what you already know. So if you know a language, let's say you know Python, or you know JavaScript, or you know Java, there are ways to create websites or apps or all these different things using all of those, because there are like infinite different projects and resources. And that's where you start. I learned HTML, CSS sort of things when I was in like middle school because I had a cool programming teacher. And that was how I got started. And when I went to my first hackathon, I just used the like HTML, CSS knowledge that I had, and I worked with someone who had a little bit more knowledge than me, and they introduced me to Bootstrap for the first time. I was like, whoa, this is insane and incredible. Avenging Pineapple, I don't know if this is sarcasm or not, because it doesn't come across all that well. I'm hoping it's sarcasm. I'm assuming it's sarcasm. Just wanted to... Bootstrap is awesome. Yeah, but okay. To get back from chat, I believe those are shit posts, but we'll see. I went to this hackathon with limited knowledge. I was a 10th grader in high school, and I learned about Bootstrap, and it gave me some more knowledge that I was able to build on top of. And I created a website at that hackathon. And then at the next hackathon that I went, I used Bootstrap. And then that went on for a little bit. And then I went to another one where someone was like, oh, let's try using React. And that was how I started using that technology for the first time, was because I was working with someone else who wanted to use that technology. And that was how I built... Do you stream like, will I one swear aloud per stream? I don't. I don't swear too often, so I don't really think about it too much. Will L. Oh, apologies. I misread that. I keep getting distracted by chat. Oh, the way that I learned all the technologies that I know is through hackathons, usually with working with other people, and they suggested something, and that's when I started using that new technology. Because I think it's very easy to get caught up in this like bandwagon, this like never-ending cycle of learning new technologies for the sake of making your work more efficient. And to tie this all, to like reel this long conversation back into the point of today's stream, this is where I would say learn like one technology. Take the technology you already know, and if you don't know any of them, pick one. Maybe I would choose either like Python or HTML, CSS, JavaScript. Those are like the two big, fairly simple like places to get into things, in my opinion at least. And from there, you can implement libraries that other people have written, which work in your existing technology. They just add on top of it. So you increment your learning slowly over time. The best example is the script that we have right here. This is written, oh, let me share my screen. This is written in like super basic Python. This isn't super complicated at all. But the reason it's able to do what it's able to do is because someone else wrote better Python. These two lines are the entirety of the text-to-speech engine, because someone else wrote that code and I just implemented their engine. I didn't need to learn text-to-speech and AI and all these different techniques. I was just able to use the Python knowledge that I had to make an interesting project. And it's why I'm so passionate about like encouraging people to research and find libraries, because I feel like one of the big things that can make it scary when creating a new project is the fact that hopefully, usually, people have really big ideas of what they want to make, but they don't know how to go about building that. I know that is me. Every single time I have some idea, and that's part of the reason why, like, I'm still learning on how to choose an idea that I can complete within a 2-hour stream, that'll be interesting for y'all and a learning experience for me. Because for those of you who haven't attended a stream of mine before, my like higher level goal of these streams is to provide a space where you can see someone actually go through and learn something live. Because so many computer science resources are by people who are super experienced, super knowledgeable, and practiced in what they're teaching, so they never make a mistake. They're framing themselves as experts. And I don't want to frame myself as an expert. I'm trying to be just like one of you. Maybe I have a little bit more hackathon experience. Maybe I have a lot less coding experience. As you know, as I talked about earlier, I'm not like super far in a degree. But I want to show you like what my process is, so you can take what you want from it and learn what you can, and then add on to it and make it your own process. But if you have these big ideas, it can be really helpful to like define a starting point, a minimum viable product of like what small thing do you want to make, what solves your problem first, and then finding what tools already exist to help you do that, and use those tools with your existing knowledge to always make a mashup between what you already know and learning something new. Yeah, Avenging Pineapple, I'm sorry if you are having a rough day. It sounds like it. I hope things get better. You are loved. What is Bootstrap? Bootstrap is I don't know actually what it is. Bootstrap, what they define it as. It is a HTML, CSS, JavaScript. They phrase it as a library, which makes sense. I'm going to open this up to show y'all. It is, they have an NPM install for it, but basically you can include one link in the top of your HTML file, and then using that, you can implement a whole bunch of components. So here are examples of those components, of these like buttons that they have set up where you can select one. Let's take a look. They have a great grid for laying things out in a web page. I really liked their grid. That was what first taught me how to use my grid, or how to use the CSS grid in general. And they have a whole bunch of components. So if you want a modal, which is a type of pop-up that shows up on screen that looks like this, here is their sample code of how to create a modal. And it's like super fun and fast and easy. And it is a library that uses basic HTML, CSS, JavaScript to help you create nicer looking websites. This is a perfect example of I went into that first hackathon with like this basic knowledge of HTML, JavaScript, CSS, that sort of thing. And I was of this mindset of like, okay, I need to create everything for myself. And I like, if I stuck with that mindset, I wouldn't have been able to create all that much. But I was told like, oh, someone's already done a lot of that work for you. What if you use this library so you can create something that is new and interesting, that uses like your thoughts and expertise? And you can create something that's like special and unique. So it's just a good example library. Fun fact, we're not allowed to use external libraries or frameworks in one of my uni assignments, but because Bootstrap comes included with ASP Core 6, we get to use Bootstrap. That's pretty good. Is it the same as bootstrapping in AI and machine learning, or are they different? I don't know what bootstrapping and machine learning is. very different. Bootstrapping being like a statistical, like data science technique, a very different thing. It seems very useful, but not what we're talking about. I'm glad I stayed up to attend the session, giving me a totally different perspective on how to carve my own tech journey. By the way, it's 6:18 a.m. at my place. Thank you so much for staying up. So I used to be like, oh my goodness, like it's so late, but I've gotten used to people in time zones all around the world staying up to attend MLH live streams. So instead, I'm just going to look directly at the camera and say, thank you for being here. I'm really glad that you're here, and I'm really glad that you gained something from it. This is why I do these. I really like the MLH community. I really like interacting with y'all, because I do have a certain perspective from the years that I was doing hackathons, all the years that I've been learning to code, all of these things, that I think can be an interesting, different perspective, because there's so much like grind set of learn these technologies to put in your resume to get an internship at Google and do all of these things, that I know, at least for me, it was part of the reason why I needed to take some time to focus on my health, and why I couldn't keep going in uni, because I was completely burning myself out. So finding my own joy and passion for what I'm doing is like a super important part of my process right now. And yeah, carving out your own tech journey, I think that's the most important thing, because there's so many people who will talk about like their path to get to success. But when I know, at least for me, when I was trying to go through my own journey, I kept looking for people who'd done it before me and to follow what they'd done, because I'm like, I still am really scared. Like, I don't know what my future will look like. So I know it made me very scared. And thus, when I was starting out, I often would find people who were like, oh, here's what I did to be successful. And it would always give me like the sense of imposter syndrome, the sense of like never doing enough, because they were doing something and I couldn't do that, or it didn't feel interesting or fun to me. I'm realizing that this stream is almost over. So I'm gonna take a step back. I'm gonna look at chat. We're gonna end the stream on a hopefully lighter note. I think you've covered more than we were ready for, which is great. Don't lose that authenticity. It'll take you very far. Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm really glad that y'all attended. I hope that you got something out of this. I know that this stream went in a different direction than I was expecting it to. I was expecting to be working on a project, but I'm glad that I made the decision about halfway through to maybe stop the project that wasn't actually making the point I wanted to make and talk about something else. Appreciate your determination. I just woke up. Oh my goodness. All the people in different time zones always make interacting in chat so fun. Oh my goodness. You got to know about Global Hack Week on January 9th from some random Telegram group. I joined a few days prior. Best start to the year in years. I'm so glad you're having a great experience. I love the Major League Hacking community. It is my favorite community that I've ever been a part of, and has totally changed my life. Like, it's why I'm sitting here now, obviously, but it has, like, yeah, love the MLH community. I'm so glad that you're having a great experience with Global Hack Week. We are planning on doing them every month, and I'm planning on doing a bunch of streams for every single one of them. So hopefully you'll see me around. Hopefully I'll see you around. I'm looking forward to that. Global Hack Week totally is awesome, and improv streams are awesome. So this is one of my big goals with doing these, is learning what streams are best for like what feels good for me, like I was talking about earlier, but also what streams are good for y'all. And I think I'm learning some good things about that. With that being said, we've got 6 minutes. Is there a stream right after us? Let me check the schedule. There is a stream right after us, which is Zane preparing for technical interviews, which honestly is a very fun follow-up after this, after me talking about like, what if you take a step back from traditional advice and think about like what you want to do and find projects that make you interested. I'll make sure to drop the code for the text-to-speech project as well. Thank you for reminding me. Definitely check out the stream that's coming up after this, which is Mastering the Technical Interview. because as much as it is cool to do the things that I was talking about of finding your own path through tech, it can also be important to learn what technical interviews look like if that's something you aspire to. If you want to work for those companies, if you want to get those jobs, learning that can also be very important. So having the two in balance is very important. So before we go, I'm really quickly going to take that 27-line file that we were talking about, and I'm going to put it in a paste bin for y'all because it is just 27 lines. Great. Gonna drop that in chat. Oh, I put an extra backslash at the end.
https://pastebin.com/q9mx4esc/. https://pastebin.com/q9mx4ezq.
Okay, that is the link, which is all 27 lines of that code. Pastebin is not environmentally friendly. I prefer Paste Recycler. Ha 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 ha. Great. Okay. I don't want to end the stream because this has been really great, but I want to make sure I give Zane all the time that he needs. So tomorrow I'm back at 10 a.m. Eastern time. We're going to be talking about Three.js, creating cool looking websites. And if you have any questions about anything that we've talked about today, I'll probably be running that code again, that YouTube code. If you want to check things out, come and stop by. There'll be another notification in the Discord for y'all. Last night, we encroached onto Zane's stream with GeoGuessr, lol. Yeah, streams often run long during Global Hack Week because people get really into it. So, for now, I'm going to say goodbye and say a big thank you all for being here. This has been an amazing stream. All of your interaction has made this stream what it is, all of your questions. I really appreciate it. I'll see those of you who can make it at 10 a.m. tomorrow, and I have another couple streams in January. Keep an eye out in the Discord for my notifications. Until next time, happy hacking, best of luck, enjoy the rest of the streams, and good night or good morning. Bye, y'all.